Hey y'all, I'm back again. So the reason why I came back on is because a lot of people are not going to understand the word, God had me to speak on this morning. Shame the devil and tell the truth. So the reason why I gave that message is because many of us out here today, when we go through our wilderness state, with some of us, because God's hand is not moving in the way that we feel that it should, we grow bitter, we grow angry, and we miss the very thing that God is needing for us to pay attention to on today. The wilderness is not, the wilderness state is not, the intention of the wilderness state is not to cause you to fall away from God or to make you feel like God is not there. God is always there. The only time his hand cannot move is when we are in the wilderness state. We cross that line into things that God told us not to go back to, into things that we know God told us specifically we're not supposed to do. The wilderness state is to teach you endurance, patience, and how to remain humble, not to speak boldly to God, addressing him in anger about things that you can't change, that we don't have control of. Sometimes in those certain states, God will test you to see, has my child learned how not to cross that line? Has my child learned to walk in full obedience of me? Has my child learned the thing that I needed her to overcome, which is anger? Has she fully got that under control? If I strip away the things that my child once had, will she remain in me? Will she trust me? And I'm speaking this because it happened to me. I tell you, everything that, most of you all are going through today, I've got a testimony. I have been there and I have overcome, not by myself, but by God's hand. But I had to have a will to submit. So one day, and I'm telling y'all, it took me so long. It took me so long to grow to this point, because for the longest I had a mindset of thinking that God was working against me and not for me. And I felt like he didn't see me. He didn't hear me. He didn't acknowledge my prayer. And I'm telling you all, I would get so angry. I would cry. I would scream. I would holler. I would yell. I would also beat myself up, because I was so used to having a mindset that I was in control. I can think of a way to fix this matter. Me, I don't need nobody. I can do this. And I got to a point where God just, everything that I ever knew, everything that I thought possible, he slammed the door, because I still had not yet grown to acknowledge him. And so, long story short, I was so angry. And when God visited me in that dream, the one I told you all about with the shaking, he told me I needed to trust him. I'll never forget, y'all. I was walking. This was the point where I had just quieted myself down, and I stopped yelling at God because it wasn't helping my situation. It was only making it worse. So I just stopped doing it. What's the point? It's not helping me. So that was what God needed me to do. To shut up, stop trying to figure it out, but trust him. So when I got to that point, y'all, I was walking to the dollar store and I had my babies with me. Because this was part of the season where God he took everybody I could have ever turned to. It's like he had them fighting against me. But it wasn't them personally. See, some people take it like, God is, or it's the enemy turning people against you. But you got to understand, God can cause people's hand to work against you too when you are being stubborn and not doing what he needs you to do. Like if God told you to get away from a certain place and you try to overstay that visit because you scared to step out and move on like he told you to, oh, he'll turn them against you too. Oh, yes, he will. Until you get out of that situation, get out of that matter by any means necessary. If he tell you to get out, you better go, because he did it to me. But anyway, I'm sorry, y'all. So I was walking to the dollar store and I went in because my baby needed diapers. I walked into the dollar store and I picked the diapers up. I went to the counter, and when I got to the counter, I looked in my pocketbook to try to get the money out. And y'all, I did not have enough. And this white lady, very kind, very sweet, she was standing behind me. And she said, put your money back in your purse. She said, you hold on to that. I said, yes, ma'am. She said, I'm gonna buy those diapers for you. I said, okay, yes, ma'am. Thank you. She said, don't thank me. She said, just have a blessed day. And I was like, wow. I felt so good because I felt like I had finally mastered what once defeated me, which was trusting God and acknowledging that he sees me and he hears me and my problems matter. And I'm telling you all, if you all will listen to the things that me and my husband are telling you all, this is real life stuff. You're not talking to people who ain't never been through nothing. You talking to people that's been through some things. You hear me? And if you all take heed to what the Lord puts on our heart to share with you all, the very thing that's trying to overtake you, it will have to bow down, because we have learned to acknowledge that God is in the midst. That's what's missing. I see a lot of people, they will say they know God, so why isn't he working for me? Why isn't he moving for me? And then we begin to speak things out to God in anger, cursing him or whatever it is. So ask yourself, how can you fully know who God is and know that he is supposed to be doing something for you, yet we are still crossing the line that we shouldn't cross? Because people who know God, they know not to test their water. Regardless to whatever they go through in life, they don't play with God like that. They trust God. They don't speak idle-minded unto him. They don't curse him. They don't, nothing like that. Anything that is not of God, they don't do. We don't do. So your anger and your bitterness towards God, again, it doesn't help you. It only hurts you. And you're looking at somebody who's been through years of hurt and pain that I once blamed God for. But when he opened my eyes and allowed me to see that he was working for me and not against me, that was what I needed. And the same thing he's given unto me and my husband is the same thing he's willing to do for you. But you've got to trust him. You can't try to press fast forward and try to zoom past the process. The process is what helps us to grow a stronger relationship with God. How can we say we know God if we haven't been through anything to learn how to endure, even if we can't hear him, to learn how to trust him, even if we can't see his hand moving and working for us at that time? Let me tell you something. In the time it took, look at how instantly God had that lady standing right behind me to meet my need just that fast. And I had just finished praying maybe 2 days before that. God, help me to trust you. Teach me. I'm going to be quiet before you, Lord. Help me. Help me. I need you. I need to see that you're here with me, Father. It's not that I'm doubting your hand. I've had so much to happen to me in life where I need to know that you're here with me, Father. I don't want to steal. I don't want to do anything that's against your will, Father. I'm talking about just 2 days before. And look at how simple it was. All God needed to know was that he had my desire to want to include him. That's all God needed. 2 days later, he met my need. And the lady didn't even want to thank you. She said, just be blessed. That meant a lot to me. So I'm praying that whoever this is for, that you all take heed and learn it's okay. Ain't none of us perfect. And if you all need to reach out to us, it's no weapon formed. So it's NOWEAPON formed, FORMED, the number 6, the number 1 at gmail.com. You can reach out to us and we'll speak with you on behalf to whatever it is you're facing and help you to push through. Y'all be blessed and have a good day.